Yo, how's everyone doing? Welcome back for some more Forza Horizon 3. Today I just wanted to share with everyone how to get the 723 Quartz Regalia, and it's very simple. All you have to do is make sure you update your Forza Horizon 3 if it doesn't do so automatically, and then just go to your message center and check under gifts, and you should see an available download there for the 723 Quartz Regalia, which is a brand new car that was added into Forza Horizon 3 for everyone, and it is free. That is the nicest part about it. So there's a couple really cool things that I wanted to show, or unique things at least, and as you can see, this thing is huge, but it weighs over 5,600 pounds, and even with the weight reduction it's still over 4,000 pounds, and that's with reducing over 1,000 pounds, so that is just crazy. And also another cool thing is it is actually supercharged. But the first thing that I guess I'll say is I don't know too much about this car, and I've never played Final Fantasy, which is where this car is from, but there are a ton of cool features to show in the ForzaVista, so that's where we're going to start out, and then we're going to move over to some racing gameplay so you can see how this thing performs, and then finally I'm going to leave you with some free roam gameplay so you can hear the sounds of this thing, because this thing actually sounds really cool and really unique, and I show it from a lot of different perspectives, so I think a lot of people will enjoy that as well. But let's start off by talking just about some of the stuff that I noticed about this thing in the ForzaVista, and also while driving it. Now the first thing I guess we'll talk about is the looks, and I think the front of it actually looks really good. It has a really cool and unique design, but from the side, I mean, it just looks so weird because of how long it is. The front end is just super long, and it somewhat, I guess we could say, looks like a limousine, but not exactly. But the back end of it actually looks normal, and it looks okay. It's a little bit weird, and overall I'm kind of like, it's not anything really nice looking or really beautiful, but it certainly is very unique, and I'm not sure what I want to call this interior trim. Is that granite, or is that some type of wood design? I don't even know, but very unique on the interior as well. And right when you see the way the doors open, I mean, that's when you know that this thing is just absolutely crazy and something completely different and very weird, and I guess because it is from a Final Fantasy game. But the one thing that I was trying to figure out that took me a little bit is how to open up the roof, because I noticed when I watched the trailer for this thing, before it was actually added into the game, that there were tons of just crazy wacky things you could open and close and do all kinds of weird stuff with. So I figured it out. You're going to need to do it from the passenger side, and you have to have the front passenger door closed to be able to do it. But once you do that, you're going to see it here in a second. It's really cool how the roof kind of retracts and goes underneath the back of the car. So really cool features, and I definitely wanted to show all of them here in the ForzaVista, but the rest of it you can pretty much see for yourself. The main other thing I want to talk about is the performance of this thing. Now when I looked at all the statistics, I was just thinking to myself, this car is going to be super slow and just completely worthless. Like, it's just super heavy, it's not going to handle well, it's going to be slow, and I'm probably never going to drive this thing again after I make this video. But it turns out that I was actually surprised by part of the performance of this thing. Now, the launch is pretty good. I mean, it is all-wheel drive, but it is pretty heavy, so it doesn't feel super fast, but the launch is probably when you're feeling like you're going the fastest in this car. The acceleration overall is very slow, very sluggish. I mean, this thing makes over 500 torque, but it doesn't even make 450 horsepower, and it's just so damn heavy, 5,600 pounds, so that really keeps you slow, and the top speed isn't even that good. It's only about 150, which I guess, considering it's at the very bottom of the A class, that's not awful, but it still felt slow overall, and we didn't even get to 150 miles per hour, so overall the speed of this thing definitely not a strength at all. But this car is very grippy. Considering how heavy it is, you're not going to slide around turns if you try and go through the turns really quick and really sharply, which is definitely a good thing, and the gearing ratios do feel good. The car shifts at a decent speed, I guess. It's not super slow, but definitely not super fast. But the things that really surprised me about this thing was the handling characteristics. Now, I thought for sure, with how heavy this thing is, being all-wheel drive, and just not looking like a car that would be agile at all, this thing is actually really decent, at least at handling. I'm not going to say it's amazing because it just feels slow, but the car turns very well. It doesn't feel unresponsive, and the braking is also good in this thing. Like, I thought those things would be atrocious and definitely be the worst part of the car, but it turns out that is not the case at all, and that really, like I said, just surprised the hell out of me, because I didn't expect to be able to make a turn in this thing, honestly. It feels so big and so bulky, but the weird thing is, you're gonna see later when I'm in cockpit view, even though the front end of the car is the part that is super long, it doesn't really seem all that bulky when you're sitting in it, but when you're driving it from third person view, it really does feel just huge and big, and man, it just feels so bulky trying to drive this thing. But I could not believe just the way this thing turns so well, and the braking wasn't bad at all, and I felt very confident when it came to turning. The part that I didn't like was going in a straight line, because all the Drivatars were passing me and catching up to me because this thing is just so slow. But considering everything I just told you, I actually think that this could be a really good A-class car, because I don't know how, but the handling and braking, like I said, and just all of the handling characteristics are very good stock. So all you really need to do is reduce weight and add power. Do the race weight reduction, add as much power as possible, keep it in the A class, just max it out to 800, and I feel like this thing could be really good because that will make it a lot faster by then. And as long as the grip is still good, which considering that it's all-wheel drive and still going to be pretty heavy, I don't think that will be an issue. So I don't know if I'm going to fool around with it. I might, out of curiosity, no other reason, just curiosity. But if anyone wants to try that, let me know what you think of it, because I honestly think that'll be a pretty damn good A-class car. But the only other thing I want to mention before I stop talking and just let you hear some gameplay and really hear the sounds of this car, because it actually sounds very nice. But in the ForzaVista, this thing looks like it's straight gray, but if you go into photo mode when you're driving it, you're gonna notice that there's actually a lot of like red in this thing. If you look closely, there's like a ton of red specks in it, and it actually looks more red than it does gray when you look very closely, which I found to be really weird, but just an observation that I figured that I would mention. But let me know what you think of this Regalia. I think it's really cool, and it's not the nicest looking car, but certainly very unique, and it's nice that they gave us something for free. Free cars are always nice, and I'm sure anyone that's played Final Fantasy is really going to enjoy this thing. But let me know what you think of the Regalia. As always, thank you very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the rest of this gameplay, and I'll talk to y'all again very soon. Peace out.